Hello, it's Big Bopper here with yet another Malifaux Batrep. Today's game was the 50 Soulstone game. The strategy was Squatters' Rights. I decided I'd go Neverborn with Lucius again, so I took Lucius with Wings of Darkness, Hidden Assets, and Legalese. As you can see, I've got the Scribe there. I've got two Illuminated, a Beckoner, Terratot, Teddy, and the Doppelganger. I didn't put any upgrades on her. For my schemes, I took Announced Plan Evidence. I thought with a Terratot and Lucius's shenanigans, I'd be able to get that pretty easy. And Spring the Trap. It's not one that I don't really try that often, but I just decided I'll give it a go. With Guild Intelligence, I can get my minions to interact actions even when they're engaged. So, maybe I could pull it off. But every now and then I like to try a scheme that I haven't done much just to mix it up a little bit. So my opponent, he actually used one of my Resurrectionist crews. He just said he wanted to try something different. So I said, how about you try my Reses? And he went with Nicodem. And he just gave him the Shadow's Embrace upgrade. Mortimer with Corpse Bloat and my favourite Shovel, so we know what's going to happen there. Rotten Bell, Nurse, two Necropunks, two Crueligans, and a Canine Remains. Now, he took two unannounced schemes, Plant Evidence and Protect Territory. I think his theory was that he could just overwhelm me and then do whatever he likes with scheme markers. The deployment here is standard deployment. We seem to be flipping that a lot at the moment, which is fine. It's certainly easier to set up. And with Squatters' Rights, the last game I played was against Marcus, and I thought, I stuffed up on Refused Flank there, allowed him to swamp me, and I couldn't contest the Marcus. So this time I thought I would deploy more centrally and see if I could actually contest them all, or the majority of them, to try and steal a few points off him. So I won the flip for deployment again, so I got him to deploy first. So he's right on the 6-inch line there with Mortimer, Nicodem, Dog, Nurse, Rotten Bell. Just all ready to push forward, having the Dog and Mortimer close by just to drop out a whole heap of corpses he's hoping, and then get Nicodem to raise all sorts of stuff. Out on one of the flanks, he had a Necropunk. He always, when he was facing Rethers, he was always going on about how good Necropunks are, so I wasn't surprised that he took some. And, he took Crueligans as well, which I think are brilliant objective runners. So he certainly had the mobility and the positioning to contest a lot of the Squatters' Rights markers. There is another picture of his deployment. There's another Necropunk right out on his right flank, my left flank. He did do a Refused Flank, and I sort of advised him against it. Silly me. But, I said, look, you're probably better to go central. That was a mistake I made against Marcus, rah, rah, rah. So my deployment, I decided to go centrally. So I've got Lucius there with the two Illuminated, just so he can do Devil's Deal when I draw extra cards by burning a Soulstone. I've got the Scribe right nearby in case I have to remove conditions off Lucius. Yes, Rasputina scarred me from last game. And also a Beckoner there. Just keeping him close to Lucius because they all work so well off his commanding presence and issue command. And out on the right flank, my opponent's left, I've got the Doppelganger and the Terratot, just for a bit of extra speed. And, just to contest those outer markers on that flank. The Doppelganger Don't Mind Me ability is just great. And Terratots, for their cost, their defense is great, and their speed is potentially insane. So this is the end of turn one. Terratots moved up, and my Doppelganger moved up. I tried for the first time ever to mimic sprint off the Terratot. I never thought of that until I was right there, but you potentially, if you get it, you're going 12 inches for one action with the Doppelganger. That's pretty damn good. As you can see in the middle here, my opponent's pushed up. He's got a few corpse counters out. He actually managed to summon two Hanged, but luckily my Beckoner with a couple of Despicable Promises was able to snipe one out with some help from Lucius with issue command. But, he didn't have the upgrade where, he can sack another corpse counter to heal them up. So they're coming in with 3 wounds. But still, 2 Hanged in the first turn, nasty. And I've moved everything up there at the center. You can see I've got 2 Illuminated out on one of the, lining up with the scrap markers or the squat markers. And Lucius is there just to direct them around. The middle Illuminated, the one with Huggy hugging him, actually got hit by the Whispers attack from the Hanged, which means I couldn't heal anymore. Talk about nerfing me. So I haven't played Revers much. I play with Revers. Next time I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to have to bring a condition removal of some sort. So there's Teddy moving out on the flank. Moving out on the flank, I think my opponent's saying, what's Teddy doing out on the flank? But I had a plan in mind where I'd use Lucius's what lackeys are for and zip him into the middle if I needed him. So I'm just going out to contest those markers as well. And so he is with his Necropunks, but he's a bit worried about Teddy, as you would be. Yeah. So we're just lining up for turn 2 scoring. Already starting to get worried by the amount of corpse counters he's bringing out and the fact that he's already summoned 2 Hanged. I managed to banish one, but the other one's there, and he actually got poison on him, so I'd be healing. So this is the end of turn 2. And and this is what happens when Mortimer gets off a few fresh meats. So there's a Hanged up there. My opponent actually managed to summon a 3rd Hanged. That was out on the other flank, either this turn or next turn. But he's also got a Necropunk in there. So my Illuminated there is down to 2 wounds. He can't heal himself. There's another corpse counter right near him because I killed something. I can't remember what. It might have even been another Hanged. But Lucius is trying to hold the middle, giving him positive flips to attack, and the issue command and commanding presence on the Beckoner just to try and get the Despicable Promises off. It just pips a few points of damage off here and there, but against incorporeal models, it's great. Teddy, I just moved up on that left flank and sat him right on top of the marker. And what was really cool is that you can see where the Illuminated is. I've claimed that marker for myself. There was a Necropunk there. He claimed that and then jumped and then claimed the next one. And then Lucius issued command with the Subterfuge a trigger on it. So my Illuminated could move up and do an interact action, all for 1 AP. That you really need to get the triggers off on issue commands. It makes it so handy. The other Necropunk's there, and he's placed a scheme marker and is keeping as wide a berth from Teddy as possible. The interesting thing about squatters' rights, because you're so keen on keeping those squatters' rights, you can't just go and attack somebody, especially a Necropunk. If I fail, he could just leap in and claim that for himself, and I miss out on a point. So at the end of turn 2, I was very happy. I actually stopped him from getting a point off squatters' rights. I claimed enough. I claimed 3, he only claimed 1, so very happy with that. But now my plan's starting to unravel. On the left flank, I have lost both my Terratot and my Doppelganger. They got to claim one of the claim markers and do a bit of plan evidence. You can see by the blue counters there. And I managed to kill off the Crueligans, but then the Hanged that he summoned over there and the Necropunk just smashed me. So I've now lost 2 of my crew. He's starting to put down markers, and he'll take away my scheme markers and my squatters' rights marker. So I'm starting to see the attrition game come to fruition, and it's a bit of a downhill slope. This is the end of the turn 3 in the middle, so I did what lackeys are for to move Teddy into the middle, and I got him to contest that marker, and but my opponent already claimed it before I could get there, and I did a bit of damage to the Necropunk, and I also got the Smell Fear off on the Punk Zombie there. But the problem with all of that is, is that they're hard to kill, so Teddy couldn't finish them off. I've got Nicodem was lured up by the bell, so he's in the middle putting his ore up, and corpse bloating. Mortimer is still throwing out corpses to fuel the machine. As you can see, I've lost the Illuminated there. It's only a matter of time when he couldn't heal himself, and Punk Zombies with their flurry are just nasty. You'll see the Scribe there. I managed to get a glove slap from the Hanged. And I did this turn and next turn he flurried, although he only did the first one and then he got paralysed because of terrifying. But, double negative flips on a Hanged, nice. As you can see, his Necropunk put down a scheme marker. My Illuminated stayed protecting his squat marker and put down a scheme marker for plan evidence, because that is my opponent's half of the table. And Lucius is just minding the other squat marker, protecting it from being claimed. He did a few issue commands and then teleported over there and walked, to move Teddy into the middle. And while that was a good idea, it means Lucius is right out of the fray as well. So, you live and learn. I'm still really learning with Lucius. This is the end of turn 4, and as you can see, things are looking dire. My opponent has now summoned in his 4th Hanged of the game, as well as, Necropunk, and he got into Punk Zombies. And so in the middle, I've got my Illuminated. I moved him in there. Lucius is in there. I lost Teddy. I moved Lucius in and then I did a devil's deal just so I could get a mask on my hidden sniper to put down a scheme marker, which he took away anyway. And then the nurse put the +2 damage on the Necropunk. The Necropunk struck out at Teddy, flipped a red Joker, and because Teddy was on 9 wounds, killed him outright. So Teddy really didn't do a lot, unfortunately. Lovely model. I love the new model. But anyway, and here we are, yes, at the end of turn 4. As you can see, yeah, that's just another shot of it. So Nicodem is well and truly claiming all the squat markers. I didn't get any points for it this turn. My Beckoner is somehow alive, although she's been hit with the whispers from the grave, so, you know, she's at half wound and can't heal. Not that she can anyway, unless she kills something with brilliance. Lucius is in there pretty untouched. You know, a highest authority discarding card really protects him, and it's really good for moving around when you're engaged too. So his Necropunk has jumped out there. As you can see, I've got squat markers and you know, also scheme markers down, but they'll all get taken away now because I'm really losing. I've only got 3 models left on the field, so it's looking very dire. So this is what it's like facing Nicodem. It was a nice little experience. So this is the end of turn 5, and he's just wrapping up. I've lost my Illuminated and my Beckoner, so all I've got left on the field is Lucius. Lucius did get off his shot where he could, you know, hidden sniper. I got the scheme marker down again. You really need to spend stones for that because you need a ram and a mask. But he got it off and it's within 4 inches of Nicodem. He couldn't remove it because he couldn't get rid of Lucius. And I actually got 2 points for Spring the Trap. So, you know, he can do real cheeky little things like that that you wouldn't expect. You know, there's no way I should have been able to get a scheme marker down there, especially with Mortimer with his chatty. We forgot that for most of the game too. Not that my opponent needed it. So he's just busily running around planting evidence and doing protect territory as well. And you can just see there are scheme markers everywhere, and he's removed all of my scheme markers. His last turn, he didn't even bother attacking or summoning. You know, everybody was just running around doing things. You know, he's got 2 hanged out. So a total of 4 hanged. You know things are going to be rough if your opponent gets 4 hanged out against you. Yeah, so you know, he's just finishing up. So spreading out like I did, I denied him 1 point of squatters' rights, but I actually think that it ended up hurting me in the end because I got squatters' rights for 3 turns, I think. Yeah, I got squatters' rights for 3 turns, so that was good. But again, it left me thinking about, you know, how you deploy against certain factions and against certain opponents. So deploying centrally, for example, against Marcus, a good thing. Deploying centrally in this mission against Nicodem, who can overwhelm you, maybe I would have been better turtling. Anyway, if anybody wants to comment on that, that would be very helpful. So it's a 9-5 loss, another loss to Lucius. I just seem to be having a rough run with him, trying to get him to work. As for crew composition, I was pretty happy with everybody except Teddy, and Teddy could have been good. But then I always thought, well, if I got rid of Teddy, I could have got 2 wild guys in, because I had the stones, you know, I would have 1 less stone for Lucius, which is not so much of a big deal. And then I could have done a refuse flank and had those really durable models for Neverborn, the wild guys, protecting 2 of the squat markers. And I should have just gone at getting my 4 basic points, maybe try and deny him once, and then push for my other schemes. Yeah, the other thing I thought is Johan, I'll need to get him when I'm facing certain crews. Condition removal is just vital, and Neverborn don't have a lot of it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm certainly enjoying playing Lucius. I'll be sticking with my Neverborn. Whether I take a break from Lucius now or not, I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll see next time. Bye, guys.